Listen, I'm easy to find. And then they can kiss my ass.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Nathan back with another video presentation. This is episode 12, Big Nate Sports Talk. In this video, we are recapping the Washington Mystics beating the Los Angeles Sparks. Before we get to that, if you have not checked out the previous video, I just literally just went live, like literally less than like a couple minutes. Check that out if you haven't already. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Please, 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 please. Check out great content. You're not going to be displeased. You're going to enjoy great sports conversation, baseball, football, basketball, college. Don't matter. You're going to have a great conversation on here with Big Nate Sports Talk. Like I said, this is the Washington Mystics versus the Los Angeles Sparks recap. Again, this game came on late. I did have plans to go on live last night, but like I said in the intro, previous video, by the time the game was over, by the time we were done with the media call, it was 1 in the morning, and I was tired. So let's just get into it. So the Washington Mystics beat the Los Angeles Sparks 94-81.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
You know, last time we saw these guys, should have won that game. But you know, we won the last four games out of 5 we won. Things are starting to look a lot better for the Washington Mystics from the offensive perspective. I'll be honest. I was a bit nervous. The fact that this is our season high, we dished out 24 assists. Last time we've done that. This is this tying the fourth time we've done that. We did a really good job, particularly in the paint. We outscored them 40-26. You know, Elena Delle Donne, who should be considered an MVP, reminded us why she is a 2-time MVP. This is her second game where she's had 26 points, 10 of 14 shooting, 4 or 5 from 3. The ball movement, the pacing, everything looked spectacular. Everything looked great. That's what a championship team looks like. This is what we have been wanting to see before the All-Star break. But I think, again, taking consideration with the scheduling, with just also to not having Alicia Clark there for a little bit, Elena Delle Donne with, you know, resting during certain games. And also, too, I think having some injuries. I think that played a part as well. Now, I want to bring up these stats. I think this is interesting. We're now 6-2 when Elena leads the team in scoring. Elena now has scored 20 or more points in the last 5 in the team best 5 games so far. Now, Natasha Cloud, she scored 21 points. The shooter came alive last night. She missed her first 3 until late in the fourth quarter, but was 3 of 4 from 3, 6-11 from the field. Also, too, had 4 dime pieces. She had 9 dime pieces, So I think a lot of this comes from, again, just especially more energy. I could tell that energy's been channeled because, again, if I had a vote, yes, she should have made the All-Star team. But playing devil's advocate, I'm just what people have said. If you're going to call yourself a shooter on national TV, you have to. When I mean shooter, she wants to be known that she can shoot the ball. You're going to be held accountable. People are going to look at you differently. Hey, you say you want to shoot, you shoot the ball. Let's see it. And consistent. That's what people were looking for. Now, from the game, like it's interesting. Coach T, and I'll play this and I'll play the post game a little bit. We talked about when he said he started scouting Elena Deladon when she was in the 8th grade, and I never knew this, but I was like, let me look up some of these highlights. And there was one point, yes, she was playing point guard. Though just the plays that she makes for others. You know, I don't care if it's a pump fake, up and unders, fadeaways. I mean, just to create space and to create shooting opportunities for others. That's what that's what you expect from a star. Like the offense, it just flows. I mean, Natasha said in the post game, it makes her job so much easier. Like defensively, Los Angeles had no answers. Yeah, Los Angeles at times was playing a zone, but I felt like again that lineup was too heavy. I felt like at times Los Angeles could have played small because I just felt like to me, Liz Cambage, for example, like they were going at her, and defensively, that's a liability. Like I'm not really. I mean, with that, I'll go into just a little bit. But Los Angeles, they still stuck in there. They were down 5 with just a little under 7 minutes. But we used a 14-4 run, and we opened up a 15-point lead. That door was shut closed. Like again, I'm also look at the bench. Shatori Walker Kimbrell she hit 12 points off the bench. Elizabeth Williams, who I thought did a really great job on the boards, did a really good job. Maisha Hines Allen, there was a couple opportunities. She was over 3, but she made up for it with rebounds and again just her presence offensively where we needed her the most did well. Now Tiana Hawkins and Havina Westbrook did not play last night. I like to I get it. I understand it. When you some nights he said it, some nights it's just not your turn. Unfortunately, that's the whole point of when you're sacrificing to win championships. I get it, but I would like to see more minutes than that. I mean, I like to see them get some minutes. I'm like, oh, it's a minute and some change, and Tiana Hawkins and Avina Westbrook didn't play. Now, Avina Westbrook also did sign her 3rd 7-day contract. After this contract, he has to either commit to signing her for the remaining of the season or sign somebody else. So you have up to 3 7-day contracts. After the 3rd, you either have to sign them for the remaining of the season or you just find somebody else. Now, also, too, this is a Spark team that did not have Nneka Ogwumike. So that's your MVP candidate not there. However, I'm looking at the box score. Katie Lou Samuelson did a really nice job, even though, she had 16 points, 4 or 5 from 3, 6 or 8 from the field. Janae Ogwumike was 3 of 10 from the field. She made 1 3. But Liz Cambage, 8 points. Come on. I mean, there was opportunities, especially because she can be a dominant ball player. And it just seems like to me, I got to see some effort. When I mean effort, like there was a possession where she could just easily make a fadeaway or a hook shot. But she's looking for fouls. She's not hustling up the court. It's the little things that bother me with a player that has shown that she can be so great. He just turns it on and then turns it off one night. That's just to me. Brittany Sykes had 16 points. Maryland University's finest Chrissy Tolliver had 12 points. The Sparks just really, and again, Ray Burrell was out with a knee injury. Kennedy Carter's out with a knee injury. Nneka Ogwumike had a non-COVID illness. But points in the paint, I thought was the interesting statistic. 40 points in the paint. Fast break points, we had 9. We had 4 second chance points. It was really, really interesting to really see from an offensive and defensive perspective. Sean Spencer, was going on, sir? Good to see you. What we were doing. But to me, I felt like also this was a game we were in Los Angeles, and I felt like we had to come out. We really did. And now it was interesting. In this game, I didn't know this. So because we did acquire a first round, we swapped the rights of a first round pick for this year for during the trade when we traded downward to get Shakira, because we had the number 1 overall pick, and everyone was like, "You should have drafted Ryan Howard," but we drafted Shakira Austin. In that trade, we got the rights of Los Angeles' first round pick for this year, and Atlanta has the rights for Los Angeles' first round pick next year. So, if that's the case, we could potentially have a chance to be in the top 4, top 5 for the WNBA draft for next year.
Guaranteed.
I love it. That means Aaliyah Boston can come to the Washington Mystics. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But other than that, man, it was a great win, great game. Everything just looked on the offensive side of the ball. Everything looked great. Everyone just did their part. There's some things that we just need to continue just to clean up a little bit more, just a little bit. The turnovers, I like to see that be cleaned up a little bit. But also, too, there were some interesting moments where we got to be better with the ball movement. At times, we could get a little carried away. But also, too, pay attention to the shot clock. There's a couple of times where we let the shot clock expire. But I think a lot of that also, too, was, again, Los Angeles has defenders that can be nitpicky. I mean, they can be really – they can sometimes get in your head. And I kind of felt like at times I saw that. But they did clean that up. Now, let's get into the let's get into the pregame first for the Washington Mystics. I did not get an opportunity to ask in the postgame because, one, by the time my hand was up, the PR director was like, "That's all the time we have for all the questions. Thank you." So that's quite all right. But I did ask a question in the pregame. So let's take a listen.
3 of their last 4. What stood out about you about how they're playing as of late?
I mean, first of all, it's doubtful whether she's playing or not tonight, or don't know. But NECA has been playing, at a high level. Stood out to me that they are, scoring in the paint. I mean, I think they lead the league in points in the paint. They've gotten, people in and out of the lineup and still have had people step up. I mean, somebody like Lexi Brown, who wasn't starting, steps in the lineup, snapping down threes. I thought over the last month, particularly when we played here last time, Katie Lou has kind of found her niche on this team a little bit, and how to, they run more stuff for her. So they're getting more balance. Liz, such a big force in the paint. But I just think they've kind of figured out, like a few other teams, how to run their offense through different people. And I think early on they were searching a little bit, kind of like we were. How do you get a balance with your team? Making sure everybody that's supposed to touch the ball touches it when they do. And they've gotten a better sense for themselves. And I think the other part of it is that Fred has gotten them to play better defensively. I thought they were much more aggressive than when we played them last time that I had seen them on tape earlier in the year. So, just it solves a lot of problems when you play harder and you move the ball. So.
Coach, the Sparks have released the injury report and said that is not going to play. But I know in the past that you've had, in my opinion, I feel like you've had good success playing against Liz. What is your strategy surrounding her?
Well, I'm not going to give you our strategy.
What are some of the keys?
I think number one, we have a tall 6'6" center that can match up physically a little bit, so that helps. And then you have another one in Elizabeth Williams who's a good defender. But I think in general we've known kind of how to help on her when to do it. And the other thing is you have to make Liz play at both ends of the court, and so make her work on the defensive end. Sometimes takes them away from some of their offense. It's easier said than done, but don't give her second shots. Try not to put her at the free throw line a lot.
Thank you.
That it?
Coach, you mentioned Lexi as someone who's really stepped up for this team. She's kind of had a bounced around a little bit in the WNBA here, but from an outside coach's perspective, what do you think she's brought to this team? What kind of stresses you out as someone who has the game plan for her?
Well, first of all, I mean, the nights she's making threes, it's really tough. I mean, she's got great range. She's athletic. She works on the defensive end. I think that playing in AAU helped her confidence. You bounced around a little bit. You can doubt yourself a little bit. I think sometimes you need to, prioritize things a little better. And I think, when you're on the verge of being out. I mean, we had a player in a similar situation. Story Walker Kimbrough played for us a few years ago, in and out, played for a couple teams. You get an appreciation for how hard it is to stay in the league. And then once you're in the league to play and be productive, I think it changes your focus. I think you appreciate little things more, and you appreciate, how hard you have to work every day to make sure that you are going to stay in the rotation. And I don't know Lexi very well, but I get the sense that, she has put in that work this year to make the game better. And I mean, I recognize it in my own team, so I think that, there's probably some similarities there.
Coach, you mentioned AU. You've had a couple players who did that this offseason. How have you seen that experience benefit them?
Well, unfortunately for Tiana Hawkins, she's in kind of a tough situation. On the night that Elena plays, she doesn't play as much, and the nights that Elena doesn't play, she has regular minutes. So it's been a little bit tough for her, but it helped her confidence. I think that, she had a tough year in Atlanta last year, and this was a good bounce back to come back home and play with a team that she's been a part of, and teammates appreciate her. I think that's a big part of it, just self-confidence. For Tosh, she got to work on her game this winter and work on her shooting. And, part of AU that, when you are the captain each week, you're running the practice or you're running the game as a coach. And so I think sometimes there might be a little more appreciation for what a coach does, but I also think that, you have to think the game a little bit more about, why coaches do this or why they don't do that. And I think that for Tosh, it broadened her understanding of the game, seeing a bigger picture sometimes. A lot of times as a player, you kind of live in a tunnel sometimes about what you see or don't see. And I think that that experience, kind of widened her vision of what the game entails.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were here, but does GM Tebow think about pushing? A win would be doubly important to get that pick, to push them down for that pick?
Oh, I think about that every week when I watch them play somebody else too. So, I never like to wish ill on very many teams, but when you have a chance to get their pick and it could be better than the one we have, gotta feel that way. Business.
You talked about Tiana, but how do you think the rest of the team is handling having Elena in the lineup most of the time, but then out of the lineup sometimes?
It's difficult. It's difficult on the coaches. It's difficult on players because you get used to a certain rhythm of people subbing and who you run plays for against certain teams or against certain kinds of defenses. And, it's an adjustment. Fortunately now we've done it a fair amount and it's become a little bit more easy, natural to do it, I guess. But I think that we're all looking forward to, the possibility of Elena playing, 80 or 90% of the games the rest of the way. So I think that helps, everybody's confidence. So, you got, an MVP, caliber player out there. It just gives everybody else confidence. And a lot of it comes sometimes, from her drawing so much attention that it gets a little bit easier for other people. On the night she doesn't play, somebody like Ariel Atkins or, Alicia Clark gets a lot more focus on the scouting report. When Elena's out there, it gets spread out a little bit. So it's a little bit easier.
All right, Coach, we'll move over to Zoom. We'll take our last question from Nathan.
Hey, Coach T, great to see you. How are you?
Good.
We played 24 games in the first half of the season. What are some of the things you're looking at?
Everybody talks about half, like that's 2/3, right?
Well, look, okay, so it is technically 2/3, but I always view the All-Star game as the halfway mark of in the season. It's 36 games, so you're divided. That's third. That's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So we're in the final third of the season, but All-Star game was technically at the halfway mark. I thought after the 18th game, I thought it'd have been All-Star break, but the way again the season was, it's been weird. So we're technically, I understood what he was saying, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
We just played 2/3 of the season.
Well, we played 24 games, and now we have 12 games left. 12 games left. What are some of the things you're looking for at the home stretch of our schedule?
Well, I think that one of the things we're all looking for is having some practice time where we can work on some things. I mean, it's not just the games. We actually get, we basically had shoot-arounds and travel days a lot the last month. And now we're going to have some time starting next week where, we play starting Sunday, we play 7 out of our last 10 at home with practice days. That's something we just haven't had most of the season. And so we think we can get better at some things. We think we can focus in on some little things, execute a little bit better on some things that, you just don't get a chance to do repetitively. And I think that's the first goal right now is to clean up some things.
I appreciate you, sir. Good luck tonight.
You bet. Thanks.
And then that was pregame. This was postgame. Now, I did not ask any questions. I did not get the opportunity to ask a question because, again, one, had some internet issues, so I didn't miss at the start, but all the questions that I had were answered. But that's quite all right.
You seem like you guys had really good juice even at shoot around this morning and seemed to kind of carry over. Did you have that feel even before the game started?
Yeah, I mean, we had energy at practice yesterday. We had good focus this morning. We've been shooting the ball a little bit better, although we didn't make layups tonight, but we've been shooting the ball better. And it paid off, and we caught a little bit of a break tonight without NECA, but it allowed some of their other players to take some shots, and they made them. So, it's not like we had a defensive clinic tonight, but, you saw the bad part of our defense and the good part of our defense from our energy. Our energy was good, so we caused turnovers. We got out and ran off the turnovers, but then we also fouled and gave up, drives to the basket when we weren't getting out in transition. So, I don't know. I don't even know quite what to take from this game other than it's a great win, game we needed, another road win, against a team that's trying to, be a playoff team. And the team, obviously, so I'll ask them before I answer the question before it's asked, we could have their draft pick. So we'll take it.
How much easier this is a silly question, but just Elena, it seems, the offense was running well, but even when you're in bad spots, she just does stuff.
She just makes plays, and, it's amazing to me. I mean, it happens in the NBA, it happens in our league. You have a player that's good, and still she ends up wide open a couple times. And, if you're the other coach, you're looking at your team like, how does that happen? And we had a few of those at the other end tonight, but she knows how to move without the ball, so she gets herself to spots to be open. But that was a vintage game tonight. 26 points on a very efficient, I think she's 10 for 14 from the floor. I thought that was terrific. So, and you get, three other people in double figures to help her and give her great support. I thought, we got a good lift there.
You guys, they're still hanging around in that fourth quarter, and then kind of her and Natasha
Yep.
kind of just take over down the stretch. Is that just an example of a veteran team and veterans knowing when to press on the gas?
And Natasha's always shot the ball well here too. I mean, I was watching her warm up before the game, and she was making threes comfortably. And so, some nights it just the basket seems big, and so she and Elena in that stretch where we broke and open took turns making threes. And some of it you got to give credit to their teammates who put enough threat in things. I mean, Maisha and Shatori and Ariel are such a threat that it's hard to just pay attention to one or two players. So we got some decent looks tonight.
Perfect all from me. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll transition to Zoom. We'll start with Jen.
Hey, Coach, sticking with Elena for a second, I still can't quite get over that pass in transition to Shatori that she made for the layup. And I feel like we don't talk a lot about Elena's passing, but how do you feel like that has maybe opened up your offense or helped your offense over the course of the season?
I mean, she's always been a good passer. The first time I ever saw Elena play was in the 8th grade. I saw a film of her. She was playing point guard for the high school team. And she was the passer. I mean, she wasn't their go-to scorer necessarily for the high school team. And I saw her come down. This is a true story. I saw her go off a pick and roll, go back behind her back, and she'd a step back three behind it. So she did all of it. She did ball handling. And then the next time down, she came down and whipped the pass cross court. And I was like, okay, this kid's a point guard and she's going to be huge. She's always had the passing ability. We've kind of forgotten that because we haven't watched her play for a while, but in our championship season, there were a lot of nights that she was facilitating for Emma or for Christy or somebody else. And so, it was a great pass, but it's not like a surprising thing to our players.
And then with Shatori, she seems to be coming on, the past couple of weeks, but how important and helpful is it to get, a dozen points from her pretty efficient?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, she gets her first ones like she typically does. She gets a steal, gets a full court layup. She's aggressive that way. She can always get herself a couple buckets a night just because of her defense. She's mad at herself right now for missing those threes in the corner because she's, like she said, I can't get much more wide open than that. And I thought 2 of them were going in. But having bench players come in and score like that is huge. Maisha had a little bit tougher night tonight, trying to find her rhythm. But, if they continue to do that and we get, a performance from Elizabeth or Rui, night in and night out, then we're going to be okay bench-wise.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Matt.
I mean, I thought the ball movement was good. Our pace is, we're not going to win any awards for pace, partly because we're making teams use a lot of the clock at the other end, and so we don't have as many possessions as we would maybe otherwise. I would have liked us to got 70, shots up, but, we got 22 threes up and we got to the free throw line a little bit more tonight. But I did like the pace tonight. I thought we were pushing the ball, better and took advantage of some opportunities. I mean, we made a concerted effort to make the post players have to run back and, eventually, they would get tired and break down, and they did a couple times.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Last question to Christy.
Hey, Coach, I know you said that it wasn't a defensive clinic that you guys put on, but you did have 10 steals and you were plus 12 on the glass and 9 offensive rebounds. How important is that kind of energy you were alluding to at the beginning of the press conference?
I mean, the energy is a lot. I mean, I think you can steal a bunch of possessions in a game if you can outwork and out-energize an opponent. That's what I'm saying. I think the good part of our defense is we were active. We were in passing lanes. We got deflections, and we forced turn. I mean, for us to get 27 points off somebody's turnovers means we were doing some things right. We just weren't good in some other areas tonight. I thought we made some bad decisions on helping, but our energy was terrific all night. I mean, for us to to get up and get 94 points, that's a good sign.
And the last thing from me, just with the paint points that you were able to manufacture with 40 of them in there, and you knocked in those 10 threes, what are your thoughts on the balance of your offense?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what we would get in paint points tonight going into it because of their size. But our goal was to be better than them in the paint. They are the ones that usually average 40 in the paint, and I think we held them under 30. So, that was big for us. We're not normally a great offensive rebounding team, and I'm not even sure we were great tonight. We were rebounding our own misses that were layups. So bounced right back to us. I don't know that we were special in offensive boards, but we stayed with it. I mean, on a couple possessions.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have. Thank you, Coach.
And then we're going to transition to
Congratulations
playing
again.
Phoenix.
Y'all had juice at shoot around this morning. Before the game, you're yelling at the DJ to crank the music up. Did you guys just have did you feel that energy even before you guys got cranking today?
I miss their annoying asses. We were only gone 2 days.
Yeah, it wasn't long. Maybe 2.5 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always miss each other when we get a break. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We have a great team, good people to be around. So I think it was more just getting together, being on court again, just having fun.
And we're energized. This is, the first half is what it is, and the second half is go time, and we know what we have in our locker room. And so I think we're just seeing a different focus too.
I asked you about that this morning. I was going to ask you the same thing. You guys know 12 games, it's that stretch of the year that y'all been talking about all year. Was this the way you need to start that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You always want to start off on a win, and we owed LA from the last time that we were here. So this is just going to continue to spill over. We head in Phoenix tomorrow, and the goal is the same, is to take 2 on the road, but just one game at a time. We got 12 games to really just put ourselves in a good position moving forward, and then one game at a time from there.
So that was the post game from the Washington Mystics, Natasha Cloud, Elena Deladon, and Coach T. Tomorrow we play Phoenix Mercury. Phoenix Mercury are coming off a big win in overtime. The final score of that game was 118-107. Where's my clip?
What was that? What the hell was that? I'm sorry the H words and the D words aren't appropriate over the airwaves, but it's going to be today. I don't know how much more of this I can take. How in God's name?
Sophie Cunningham in that game went off at 36 points. The Mercury are now 6-4, if I remember correctly, in games at home. But ironically, they are 4-9 against opponents with a winning record. I couldn't believe that. The Mystics come in this game. We're 8-6 on the road. We're 4th place in the Eastern Conference Finals. This is the 3rd time we will see them. Last time we saw them, we beat them on the 14th last month, and then that Sunday we lost to them in overtime. Sky Biggins-Smith is averaging, I believe, about 19 a game. Ara Atkins averaging about 15. Elena Deladon, last 10 games, averaged almost under 18 points. Phoenix, again, does not have Kia Nurse, dealing with a knee injury, but she should be back soon. The last 10 games, the Phoenix Mercury, they're 4-6. They're averaging about 85 points a game. Mystics, last 10 games were 6-4. We're averaging about 80. We are shooting under 45%. And opponents, when they play us, we are about 75%. Phoenix, letting their opponents score almost 87 points a game. The key to me is containing the shooting, keeping Minnesota off the three. Also, too, we have to commit turnovers before Phoenix commit turnovers. It's interesting that Phoenix is ranked 10th in the league with points per game allowed, but it's interesting they almost average 15 turnovers a game. But they allow teams to shoot 45% from the field. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, they allow 40% of threes to be made, and then that's for statistics that for you to sleep on. Now, to me, the Washington Mystics, the front court is the key. I think you need a lot from your front court. It's a Phoenix team that's, to me, just the energy. It's all energy, and I feel like Washington can beat them. Now, if you understand watching that game, Minnesota lost that game because they committed 21 fouls, and Phoenix got to the line 24 times. They shot the ball they shot 8. They made 18 of those free throws. But if you look at it, Phoenix, when it was all said and done, all the smoke was cleared. From three, they made 30% of their threes. 47% Minnesota shot under 50% from the field. I mean, they did not do well from the free throw line themselves. I think they took 35 free throws and only made 25. Also, too, Minnesota dominated the glass. 55 rebounds in total. But the fouls is what killed Minnesota. Minnesota should have won that game. But the Mystics, we know what we got to do. The ball movement has to be immaculate. The turnovers, get Phoenix in foul trouble early. I mean, get them in early foul trouble. Also, to get them off the three. Have them get them to make contested heavy shots. The pace for the Washington has to be spectacular. I think I believe the Washington Mystics will beat the Phoenix Mercury 95-87. Guaranteed. I think the Mystics can do it. I do. I can see them starting off 2-0 with this final third of the season. But with that being said, that's going to conclude the episode, ladies and gentlemen. I think do I have another episode coming out? No, I do not. I have to look back on the schedule. I scheduled my episodes ahead of time yesterday. But that's going to conclude the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes of Big Nate Sports Talk. I do apologize that the episodes have not been on Anchor, Spotify. I have wrote it down on my phone. I will have these episodes uploaded for y'all. Caught up with the rest of season 8, season 9. Be tuned in for those. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I really do. Just work outside of YouTube has been crazy. But with that being said, closing message. Be tuned in for the other episodes I got. I got the MLB All-Star video, who got snubbed, who should have made the team. And then the Orioles halftime check-in. Just my thoughts, what I would like to see going in the second half. And then the WNBA, Nathan gives his who he thinks should be the award recipients. But until then, please like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast, which is much appreciated. Like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip.
You know, it is what it is. It's so great to be great.
Listen, I'm easy to find. These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.
And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.